We had groups of students from years 7 through to 10, and what they were doing is they were doing some coding and robotics from Victoria University.
It looked like an American jelly donut, like a ring that was dusted white and had red stuff in the middle that looked like jam. And as you can imagine, people were quite surprised by this, given the lack of Dunkin' Donuts on Mars up until this point in time. So they took a photo, and NASA looked at it for a while and went, you know what, we don't know what this is. We're out of ideas. And so they took the photo and they sent it out to the internet. They released it to the internet. And the internet, being the nice, calm, well thought out place that it is, took that photo and gathered lots of evidence and carefully thought about it and went, oh, I think this is a nice, complex... No, the internet just went crazy. That's how the internet works, right? People just went nuts. And immediately a guy sued NASA, and I swear this is true. He sued NASA for covering up the discovery of jelly donut-based alien life.
And then we met up and we did some exchange of ideas. A challenge for us as we go back to our schools to think about how we can shape up learning in this whole region to continue down that path. So teachers aren't the providers of the answers, they're people who help you do the thinking to come up with new solutions.
Today was the presentation by Alf, and the style of presentation which makes everything seem like incredibly good fun. So thank you very much.
And the future's exciting when kids can connect not just with other learners in their classes, but with learners across the world, and when teachers also acknowledge that they're learners.
I was training my students yesterday and I said, when you give talks to people, you have to be prepared for some very weird questions. But that's the first time I've been asked if I'm a member of the Illuminati or not.
And talking about how learning's changed, because in the digital age we have a situation where teachers no longer control all the information, and kids and teachers much more work alongside each other in order to create new knowledge.
Doing a revision session for my first year physics students yesterday, and they were railing against their high school physics teachers for the limited viewpoint that their high school physics teachers had given them, and they missed the fact that if high school physics teachers had said, here's general relativity, on the first day of physics classes, the students would have run out screaming. That sometimes there is a really good reason for having a guided view and intro into a subject. And I'm really interested in opening this question up because the digital technologies teachers and the traditional maths teachers and science somewhere in the middle are beginning, I think, to require very different skills. So I can't think of any, I'm not a high school teacher, so forgive me if this is completely wrong, but I'm not aware of any subject at high school that has the potential to completely change everything in its curricula over a 5-year period, which is what digital technologies does.
I learned that maths is pretty much key to your success.
I learnt that failing is a part of learning, and to learn you have to fail.
Really, this is an event about collaboration, not just within the education sector, but between the different sectors in our community, the health and aged care community, the business community, and the education community.
I found it really interesting to learn the sort of incentives, like the monetary incentives that there are for people to be innovative and making their own robots and landing them on the moon, how much money there is for those competitions.
I think another unconference with more teachers being involved would be great, and having it for the whole day so that we can really develop on those themes and look at more aspects of what people are doing in the classroom.
Technology progresses. If somebody told me 2 years ago that there would be a virtual reality headset called the Oculus Rift that you put on your head and it pretty much, you can move around your head and it'll move around the world inside of it, it'll actually do that, and I never thought that would actually happen. I also learned that chocolate bars are bad for you.
Is that so what he's experiencing here is it's actually around him, and that's the difference between this 2D and 3D. So you can actually see down, behind you, up, it's all around you, and that's the virtual reality. The hands is a representation of his body basically, and that's how it is.
We see a lot of scams these days at NetSafe. The scammers are becoming very sophisticated. There's a lot of ways that they try and trick people out of money ultimately, but also out of identity. We see young people doing things that they may regret in a few years' time, sending naked photos to each other, putting up things that are derogatory and harmful and upsetting for other people. So those kinds of things go on as well.
I usually check it like with multiple sites that I trust, and then go to the library and research it more through a paper copy version of something, because yes, I like using the internet for this thing, but no, I don't entirely trust it, so I do like to cross-reference things with books.
But if there are problems or issues that people are having, NetSafe's there to give some advice and guidance, and we can be contacted by free phone or on a number of other platforms.
I think what we had today with the feedback with the student group that have been working with ALF with the robotics, I think it was great having the teachers and students seeing the enthusiasm and the different points of view, and so maybe having something that was structured to get the students teaching us and telling us what they would really like to see happening in school.